Masterclass. And that is going to be a full morning event. We're going to be serving a full hot breakfast with that. We're going to have three successful speakers who are entrepreneurs who have built businesses, and they're not going to be talking about, hey, yay, I built a business. They're going to be telling you how they built the business, little bullet points, little bits of information, actionable intelligence that you can actually take back to your business that day and promote it. We'll also have open networking periods, a Q&A panel discussion. It's going to be at the Beard and Banquet Hall in Knoxville, Tennessee on Thursday, July 16th. So that's going to be a really exciting event. We're excited to kick off this new masterclass series. And other than that, we've got 77 events now, I think, every month that are free for everyone to come to around the area, and more on the way. So just a lot of growth in the networking and growing the education sphere of things. And I could keep talking, but we'll let somebody else talk, and I'll tell a little more in a bit. So.
There you go. Hey, Gene, real quick, I noticed that Shira's Fathom recorder was going to join, and it needs to join. Like one of you guys needs to have your Fathom recorder join. Okay, so let's get that happening, and we're on live stream on YouTube. So for all of you that are new to the show, if you want attention to your business, one of the magic moves is turn on your camera. Number one. Rename your name with your name plus business name or name plus email or website address because it's being streamed live on YouTube. It's going to go out to a couple of 100,000 people when everything's said and done. And I want this to be an opportunity as a reward for you to show up to the live show. If your video is not on, you will actually not appear on YouTube. So just so we're clear, okay? Now, DD Sailor has figured out how to crack the code because they're actually appearing on YouTube with just the photo. So however you did that, good job. Okay, so anyways, definitely like let's see here, like Gene has, Choya, Rita, Jane, highly recommend you have a background that has a QR code. That's coming from the guy that is on my background, Gene. I don't have a QR code. Just FYI, just but it's a video that you got going on in my background, not just an image. So, anyways, I'm excited for today's show. This will be the last show that we do on Monday. Okay, I want to get that right out of the gate. Okay, so no longer are we going to be doing this on Monday at 11:30 a.m. It is going to be moved to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so the reason for the move is looking at shows, looking at all the research, all the data. Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time is the absolute best time to do a live show if you want a high rate of attendance. And so it fits the East Coast, it fits the West Coast, fits Central Time, Mountain Time, etc. So we're trying to reach business owners all over the country. And so starting next week, we're going to be moving this show to Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So definitely make a note on that. And the other thing is what's going to be funny is I won't even be here for next week because I'll be on a plane flying to California. And actually, no, Gene, I think I'd land like at 10 in the morning. So I might just be here. You never know. If not, you're gonna run the show. Either you, Mark, Beth, Choya. I don't know. That's above my pay grade. Okay. You guys figure it out. So I'm excited because today is June 29th, 2026. This is the last Monday of the calendar quarter. It is the last Monday of the first half of the year. And every single one-on-one client that I have has gotten an email this morning from my team saying, here is your quarterly business review template. And they're going to spend the next week or two, once their numbers get closed out for the quarter or the first half of the year, getting the answers to those questions so that way we can plan out not just the third quarter, but the year-end sprint, the next 6 months. And so if you're Not paying attention. There's only 2 times a year I ever recommend changing your annual plan. And it is December before the year starts, and it is at the end of June before the second half starts. So once you go into the year, and this is something I learned a long time ago, once you set the goal at the beginning of the year, and you say, okay, by December 31st of this year, I want to be here. The worst thing you can do to yourself is change that goal. Now, here's why. Your subconscious mind does not understand what you believe in or what you don't believe in. It understands what you actually do. Okay, I want to repeat that. Your subconscious mind, you have very little control of what it actually does. What you can do is program it. Okay, and if you don't believe me on this, do the research. Do the research. You'll find out that while we have been on this call for the last 5 or 10 minutes, okay, the last 5 minutes, you have not made a decision to have your heart beat. That has been done without your permission because your body is designed to protect itself and your subconscious mind controls that. What you can do is program your subconscious mind. And every time you set a goal or you tell yourself you're going to do something and then you don't follow through, all you're doing is reinforcing to your subconscious mind that you can't count on what comes out of your mouth. Okay? So, I want to reiterate this. This is not a shame exercise. This is not a beat yourself up exercise, but the shoe fits. You know what happens to the shoe, right? So, it applies to me just as much. I have to be very, very, very careful about how I talk to myself and how I set myself up. Classic example. Everybody that is close to me or in my own, core planning knows that I get up at 5 a.m. every single day of the week, with the exception of Sunday. Yes, I do it on Saturday too. Okay. Because I have determined 5 a.m. is the time that I'm going to get up. And so at night, when I go to bed and I set that alarm for 5 a.m., I'm telling my subconscious mind that I'm getting up at 5 a.m. So when 5 a.m. happens and rolls around and I hit that snooze button, I have a decision to make right then and there. Am I going to keep my word to myself or am I going to hit the snooze button? Okay. Now, this morning, man, I hit that snooze button, I think like 4 times, and it was enjoyable. I got to tell you that right now. I'm just going to be completely transparent. That alarm went off at 5 a.m., and I'm like, yeah. And the whole dialogue went through my brain. It's like, you better get up. You already know you need to get up. You know, you're teaching all these people on this planet. All of a sudden, the whole shame spiral goes, and I finally said, you know what? No, I'm not gonna get up. You know, and I'm changing the game plan right here and there, and I'm going my butt back to sleep. Okay. Now, that's a dialogue I've learned from some NLP experts is I basically, you know, am not violating my subconscious there. I'm not violating my word to myself. I realized that this morning I had all kinds of room and flexibility to move my schedule around and I made that decision. But I'm going to tell you right now, most of the time, 7 out of, let's just say 10 out of 10, you're perfect. If you can get yourself to operate at a level 7 or higher, you're going to win. It's very hard to operate at an 8, 9, or 10 consistently over a long period of time without burnout. But to get yourself to operate at a level 7 and above is huge. So, Gene, before I lose this thought, we're going to share with everybody my daily planning questionnaire. I just went over this with Rui the other day because he really was curious about how I structure my morning routine and planning. And I just basically gave him the document. But there's an end of the day routine that helps me level. Okay, what does a level 10 day look like for me? There are 10 things I've identified that I have to do on a daily basis in every area of my life to have a level 10 day. And I've taken all the judgment out of it. I don't get to have an opinion at the end of the day whether I had a level 7, 8, 9, or 10 day. And sometimes a 2. There are 10 things that absolutely have to get done in my life, not just business, but every area of my life, every single day, come heck or high water. These are the 10 things that I've identified ahead of time that I have to get done. Now, why am I sharing all this? This is the time of the year, folks, that I would highly recommend you sit down, and I'm going to share here in a minute. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to walk you through the quarterly planning review that I give to every single client. I've been using this quarterly business plan review for, God, I don't know. Clark Broom gave this to me back in 1992. I think I was 22 years old, 23 years old, something like that. I'm 56, to put that into perspective. And over the years, it's taken on lots of different modifications, and I'm going to share with you today the current modification. This is the time of the year where you get the permission to go, hey, if you set a goal to do $100,000 this year, and you're only at $300,000 so far, then guess what? Unless you make a dramatic, and I mean a dramatic change between now and the end of the year, you ain't hitting that goal. Just be honest, you know? So why beat yourself? Why set yourself up for? Now, I'm not talking about lower your standard, lower your dream. I'm talking about being realistic here. Okay. And, so if you've done up to 300,000 this year and your goal was 1 million, okay, then, you got to crank up 700,000 going into July. And you got half of November that's dedicated to Thanksgiving and the other month dedicated to Christmas. So unless you like determine, hey, I'm going to hire 4 people right now and we're going to go for it and we're going to work our butt off between now and the end of the year, you're probably not going to hit the goal. So there's nothing wrong with this time of the year going, you know what? Then the questions in this questionnaire will answer this. Did I work my tail off for the last 6 months or not? Question number one. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you went full out, you left it all on the field, you rocked it like there's nothing left in the tank. Okay, like you poured it all out. And your very best was 300,000. I'm just assuming that your goal is 1 million. Okay, I'm just going to use those as mathematical, parameters to measure this. But you can look yourself in the mirror and you can look and you can honestly say to yourself, dude, I played the level 10, dude. Like I did every single thing possible. It's just that I ran out of time on the goal. Versus, well, John, if I had to really be honest, I only played at a level 6. Well, that's good. You can beat yourself up for about 45 seconds over that, and that's the max I would advise you to do. The best thing to do is accept it, take responsibility for it, draw a line and go, dude, if I operate level 6, man, and I get 1 or 2 things out of this call today and I can operate at a 7 or even an 8, what's the next 6 months going to be like? And so none of us are perfect. Okay. If I had to look at this year, and I'm gonna my team is gonna get their own questionnaire, but if I had to completely be honest about this year, I would say I played it probably an 8. Not at a 10. There are certain things I could have done, that I should have done, that I would have done. But, let me see. Who do I want to blame here? Jean let me get away with it. Okay. We're just going to be completely honest. It's her fault. It's not my fault. Okay. It's just like I was talking to my wife this morning. We were talking about Genesis, right? And going through this study with a group of guys preparing for tonight, and we're talking about Genesis 1, and Charlie Kirk did a book called "Stop in the Name of God." I got through one of the chapters yesterday, and he's going through an incredible education on Genesis. And one of the things that was pointed out there is like, okay, God gave that command to Adam, don't eat that tree, dude. Just don't even do it. Okay. Put him in the garden, said, don't eat the tree. This is before Eve was created, by the way. Okay. And then so the question comes down to is, they're in the garden, and the serpent is craftier than all the animals, is what it says. Okay. So he starts talking to the woman. Okay. And deceives her. Okay, convinces her to eat the fruit. Okay, then here's the next thing that most guys selectively miss out on. She gave some to her husband who was with her. Okay, he was standing right there, man, witnessing the whole thing. Where it screwed up is he didn't act. Okay, and then when God confronted him on it, here's what he did: it's that woman you gave me. Okay, and then she blamed the serpent, and the serpent didn't have a leg to stand on, and the rest is history. Okay, so here's the point. Okay, you can blame other people all you want. You can blame the weather, the politics, the gas prices, the economy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But until you take full responsibility for where you're at right now, at this moment in time in your business and in your personal life, you cannot change anything about it. Okay. So I had a very sobering moment this morning when I was sitting there doing my own planning. And I'm like, you know what? Jesus hit the nail on the head. Take the plank out of your own eye first, then you can see the speck in your brother's eye. And I'm like, man, John, you got a pretty big plank right here, brother. We're going to have to do something about that. Okay. So here's the point: measure yourself. Okay. You can measure all kinds of other things, but at the end of the day, do yourself a huge favor, take ownership of where you're at. Okay. There's no judgment. You're the only one that's your own judge. Okay. But I promise you this exercise could be the most liberating exercise you do all year long, or it can be the thing that you use to beat yourself up with. And the way I'm presenting it is use it as an opportunity for you to make a change right now. Okay. And before I get into it, I'm going to share a quick story. Every single off season, okay, Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. And I've given this talk, God, I don't know, probably 600, 700 times now. And it always comes down to mindset. And one of the mindsets of a champion is that there's always room to grow. How many of you would agree with that statement? Raise your hand or put I agree in the chat window. Okay. How many of you believe that you have potential inside of you to perform at a higher level than the level you've been performing at? Okay. Same here. Now, one of the true stories about Michael Jordan is every single off season, the season was over. And in this case, the second half is over as of tomorrow. Okay. So your season is over. He would sit down and he would watch hours and hours and hours and hours of film of him playing basketball during the season. And then through a process of elimination, through a process of just setting goals and so forth, he would make a list of all the things he wanted to work on during the off season. And after he felt he was done with that exercise, then he would reverse engineer it down and come up with one thing, not 25 things, one thing that he would work on during his off season. So one year was his left hand. It's all he did on the off season is work on his left hand. Next season, it was his strength training, and it was that discipline that made him so great. Well, that's Michael Jordan. Well, guess what? In your business, you are the Michael Jordan. Okay. And if you don't feel that way about yourself, then maybe one of the things that you should do over this next quarter is add a book called What Do You Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter. That's a really good book. Okay. Or maybe work on your own self-image over this next quarter. Maybe that could be the best investment. You need to believe that you're the best in your space. If you don't believe that you're the best in your space, okay, it's a mindset shift. Now, I know that you're the best in your space because you're the only one in your space. Well, what do you mean by that, John? What do you mean? I was like, there's multiple people that build funnels. There's multiple people that have, networks. There's multiple people that do creation stuff. There's multiple people that do operations consulting. There's multiple people that do Melaleuca. There's multiple people that do personal assistant stuff. There's multiple people that are Affleck. There's multiple people like Mark that does appointment setting. And the other people, I don't know what businesses you're in, but there's multiple business coaches and consultants. But here's why I know that you're the only one in your space. Because last time I checked, you're the only one with your fingerprints. Okay. You're the only one with your DNA. It's as simple as that. Okay. 8.279 billion people on the planet. You're the only one. Now, there might be somebody else that does what you do similarly. But at the end of the day, you're the only one that's going to do it the way you do it. It's called, most people call it the secret sauce, if you will. And all it is I learned something from somebody. I went around and I did it myself and I interpreted it in my own language, which makes it unique to me. So the one thing I want to give you as an exercise is make sure that part of your next quarterly plan or the rest of the year is working on you personally. Okay, if you don't believe that you're the best in your space, it's going to affect your pricing. It's going to affect how you approach people. It's going to affect how you discount your services. It's going to do all that. I hear people all the time. It's like, I'm losing on price. I'm losing on price. I'm losing on price. And, I can't price it any lower. And it's like, well, you shouldn't be selling on price anyways. Now that's going to hit hard for some of you. But I'm going to tell you right now, all it takes is working on your skill set to learn how to sell on value versus price. You know? And so every product, every service has the ability to sell on value, not price. If I go to your website, think about this. Go over the last 6 months. Here's an exercise for you. Over the last 6 months, what are the things that you bought because somebody advertised it on Facebook or some sort of social media or some sort of email? Go back and find. Here's an exercise for you. You want to know how to really make your marketing rock this coming quarter? Go back and make a list of every single thing that you bought over the last 6 months. Go back and find those links that you clicked on. Look at the marketing message. What process did they walk you through to get you to hit that buy button? And all you got to do is reverse engineer that because the same juice applies for you. I'll tell you why my wife absolutely loves Nancy Scar, and so do I. Because I can go to M&D Creations at any moment in time with any idea in my head, okay? And that woman can make it, her and her daughter can make it happen. Okay, that's what M&D stands for, mother and daughters. Okay. And so I like the M&D Creations because it forces you to ask, hey, what's the M&D stand for? Well, it stands for mother and daughters. That's a brilliant, simple, but tell me more. Well, me and my daughters got together, we built this business, and we want to customize people's experience and deliver on everything that they want created. She gave me this, what was that? Jean had something to do with this, I'm sure. She designed the whole thing, took the idea out of my wife's brain. I had this beautiful, beautiful t-shirt that was all about fathers on the front, and then all like four of our kids, and what do we have now? 8 exchange kids, all on the back. I mean, it was beautiful. And she goes, yeah, look what Nancy did for me. I'm like, and I actually cried when I got it. And I was like, man, it was such an impact. Okay. But see, that's her secret sauce. See, she gets to tell this story to the next person that wants to haggle with her butt on price. Yeah, you can get printing, screen printing, and all this other stuff done anywhere. You really can. But if you really want the attention to detail, if you want the personalization, if you want it done the way you want it done, and you want to have an impact with your customers and your family and your friends, M&D Creations, in my opinion, is the only choice. The only people that will actually take the time to sit down and get to know why am I creating this and how can they make it special? Like I hired her to create a bunch of new business doctor hats because the other ones, my head grew, I got smarter apparently, and the other ones, fit tighter. And so she created a bunch of new hats. And she says, what about this one? I'm like, I don't know, get creative. I got myself a business doctor in, what are those people called? Volunteers orange logo. It's cool. Like I can't wait to wear it. The only thing missing, which I need to do on the rest of the stuff you produce, is put M&D Creations on the back of the hat. Okay. So that way people, ask about that. So there you go. Anyways. All right. Quarterly planning. So let me share my screen here. Make sure I got it dialed in here. Give me 1 second. Okay, we got that there. Where's the share button? Uh, Share. And that is desktop 2. Boom. Okay. All right, so everybody can see my screen? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, is it too small or do I need to expand it? Rita?
If you could make it bigger, I think that's better for people. I can see it.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah. Oh, 200% already, but we're getting ready to go. We're going big. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so quarterly business review. Okay, I want you to download. Gene's going to share this with everybody. Drop this, Gene, into it's the one you sent out an email to all the clients this morning. Okay, that's the template because it's been updated. All right, so put that in that, drop that in the chat window, Gene. Also drop the life plan commitments worksheet in there. And another good one to put in there, Gene, would be the power-based system, because that's going to be one of those things. It's perfect time of the year for that system, and I'm gonna tie all the knots here. Okay, so whichever one of you got the Fathom recording, highlight this section. I want to carve this out. This is what we're going to use for some promo reels and some educational reels. Okay, so quarterly business review. Obviously, put in the quarter. Okay, the quarter that you're reviewing. So in this case, it would be Q2 2026. Areas that you need assistance. Okay, what are the items you need help with in the next 60 minutes? This is what I tell my clients. Hey, I'm going to meet with you for an hour. We're updating your quarterly plan. Take it, meet with your mentor, your business partner, your management team, or if you don't have any of that, get on my calendar to do a strategy session with me, a quarterly strategy session. Okay, doesn't mean you got to work with me. Just means it'll be in your best interest to do a quarterly business strategy session with me and my team to help you really nail down your plan. Okay, that's what Michael Jordan did. I mean, he's Michael Jordan, right? The greatest basketball player. It's not like I need to teach his butt basketball, but that's what he did. He sat with his mentors, his coaches. They laid out the plan for his off season. And that's exactly what he did. Okay, that's how you become great. Okay, and if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Keep running on your own, by yourself, and keep getting the same results that you got last quarter. Okay, that's going to be how I'm going to answer that. Okay, and if it offends you, good. I hope it does. Okay, I hope it definitely upsets you enough to where you finally let your ego down and get the help that you need. Okay, I'm not the only end all be all. Okay, I've got thousands of coaches that are somebody out there is a fit for you. Okay, but stop going at it alone. That's number one rule. Okay. Now, once you get to $10 million, you got a leadership team and you can unplug, then fine. Okay. But until you get to your goals, you got two ways to get there. You can get there through brute force and go at it and guess and work and learn from your own mistakes. And that is very expensive. And there's lots of people that have done that. Or you can get somebody that's already been down the road and go down the road faster and avoid the mistakes. It's up to you. And I got no skin in the game either way. All right. So, what is the biggest crisis on your hands? These are the two questions my clients have to come to this meeting with. If they do not fill this form out and they do not get it back to Gene, their meeting gets canceled or rescheduled. Okay. We come to this meeting to get work done and lay out the plan. That's why all my clients achieve their goals. That's why Nitsa Medina Garcia has been with me for 10 and a half years. Rio's been with me going on 7. Jackson Sands has been with me going on 8. And you ask them all, this is the reason they stay with me. Okay. Has nothing to do with me teaching them anything else at this point. It's holding their butt accountable to this is the reason that it's valuable. So find somebody like that to hold you accountable. And don't select your spouse. Okay. You're not going to be able to be accountable the way you should be accountable. All right. Executive update, key facts. I'm going to explain some terms for those of you that don't understand, and then I want to give you a mindset that's going to serve you for the rest of your life. Number one is numbers matter. And if you don't know how to do bookkeeping, solve that this coming quarter. Doesn't mean you got to hire a bookkeeper, but hire a bookkeeper to teach you bookkeeping. Or Gene, give them the how to read financial statements video series. That's only going to teach them how to do it. It's not going to teach, it's only going to teach them how to read their end results of what the bookkeeper does. But get a bookkeeping course, hire a bookkeeper. Justin Gimbel is my go-to guy. Okay. He's my guy. I've got Barbara over here on the East Coast. She's my go-to person as well. And hire them, pay them a couple hours of their time to teach your butt how to do bookkeeping if you just don't want to do it yourself. Nothing wrong with it. Okay. Don't end up, I just sat down with getting ready to, because Michael Colello does all my tax strategy and he does my taxes, and he's like, okay, man, we're ready to rock, dude. I'm like, okay. I went into QuickBooks to print out my financials and get it over to him. I'm like, oh my God, my own dang bookkeeping hasn't been done in a year. I'm like, I'm the damn business doctor for crying out loud. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, how many times in my life do I have to learn this, John? You know? And fortunately, I don't have a massive amount of employees. Otherwise, it would be a lot more important. But now I've got to pay the piper. Okay. Because I sure as heck am not going to do it myself. So send over the stuff to Justin. I go, I know it's going to be expensive. I don't care. I'm not paying for it anyways. I already went and found a client to pay for it. Get the bookkeeping done, get it up to speed by Friday so Michael can finish the taxes. And because the system's already set up, all it required me to do, to be quite honest, is go in there for an hour a month and code stuff because all the system has already been set up. But guess what John Pyron doesn't like to do? That crap right there. Now I'm going to pause and I'm going to let that sit with some of you. There are things that we do in our business we don't like to do, and yet for me, it's like it was out of sight, out of mind. It didn't really matter until it mattered. But now it's going to cost me even more money to get it done at the last minute versus just paying his butt every month to just get it done. So not only is Justin getting my crap all up to date, but going forward, I already worked out a deal. He's just maintaining it because I'm not going to get behind in this area ever again. It's one of those things that I don't like to do, and I need to outsource it and delegate it. Okay. So now here's the deal. Once your numbers are updated, this right here matters. This is very important. Okay. If you do nothing but get this out of this, you're going to be very successful going forward. Okay. I want to know what my year-to-date revenues are. What are my top line revenues? Okay. I want to know how much of an increase versus the same calendar quarter from the previous year. Okay. If I'm just getting started, then this is mute. Okay. You're just going to know what your numbers are right now. And then compare it to the previous quarter. If you're less than 3 months old, then this doesn't matter anyways. Okay. But if you don't know your numbers now, comparing them to last year, that's why I can't proceed with my own quarterly planning until Justin does his part. Okay. I can guess all I want, but I already know I'm not going to be able to finalize this plan, and I'm not going to be able to meet with Dave Vanny because that is my mentor who I hold myself accountable to. And I already know. Okay. Dave's worked with me since 1996. Okay. I was 20, I don't know, how old was I? Like 27 years old. Okay. And I already know if I show up to my meeting with him and this is not completed, I don't want to know I don't want to hear what comes out of his mouth because I already know exactly what the words are he's going to say to me because he's done it for all these years and he ain't going to accept an excuse. So all I'm going to do is postpone the meeting. I'm gonna postpone the meeting for another week, give Justin the time to get the stuff together. So that way, when I show up to Dave, I got real numbers. He is not going to accept an excuse. Okay. And he shouldn't. Okay. And so year-to-date numbers, what was the increase right now over whatever the quarter was last year? Now, what was the operating expenses? Okay. The operating expenses are normally called S as in Sam, which stands for sales, G, which stands for general business expenses, and A, which stands for administrative expenses. They're called SG&A expenses. They are the operating expenses, the overhead. Okay. If you're in Nancy's world, where you're selling stuff and it requires retail inventory, right? Where you have to have blank shirts and you have to have inventory, and there's actually costs associated with the sale. Then it's called cost of goods sold. You got top line revenue, it's how much you sold, minus cost of goods sold. Okay, all the costs associated with delivering on what you sold. You're left with what's called gross profit. And then below that is SG&A expenses. And then you have net, okay, which is EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, and depreciation and amortization. This is before you get paid, okay? And then you have your net after the EBITDA, which is your profit in your pocket, okay? All right, so operating expenses, I want to know what the percentage was. Right now, over this last quarter, I want to compare it to the previous quarter last year. I want to know what my earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization is based before last year. Now, what is EBITDA? Okay, it's all the stuff that you earn in the business before interest, before taxes, before depreciation, before amortization. Okay, it is the one factor that businesses that are $3 million and above get valued on when I go to sell the business. Okay, below 300,000, below 3 million in revenue, it's going to be on earnings, owner earnings. Okay, what is the earnings that you get from the business? Is how you're going to be valued below 3 million. Okay, so knowing your numbers is very important. Okay. I've got two types of accounting systems here. Okay. If you carry receivables, meaning you bill somebody and you have to wait for them to pay, then throughout the year, you're doing what is called accrual-based accounting. Okay. Now, if you're in QuickBooks, it's easy. You just press a button and it converts it either way. You can flop back and forth as often as you need to. Okay. But accrual-based accounting means that I have receivables. I billed somebody, they owe me money, and I want to know what my balance is with them. Okay, I happen to do accrual-based accounting because I do invoices and people owe me money, and until I collect it, I'm not counting it as income. Cash means that I do business, and I don't do business with you until you pay me. Okay, there is no receivable. Okay, I want to look at both because if I'm a business and I'm not going to give you tax advice here, I want to be very clear on that. Okay. You go and talk to your tax professional. And if you need one, I got plenty I can refer you to. But regardless, I'm always doing accrual-based accounting throughout the year unless my business is pure cash. And I'm filing my taxes based on cash basis method. Okay. And that is legal 100%. So I've done it for, I don't know, 35 years. Okay. 100% acceptable. But it's a different way of looking at the business. I want to know based on income. How much income did I have year to date compared to the same period last year and what the percentage was? And if you need help with this, it's very simple. Today is what is this? June 29th, 2026. If I want to know where I'm at year over year at any moment in time, as long as my QuickBooks is updated, as long as my accounting system's updated, I would run a report in QuickBooks right now, and it would say June 29th, 2025 to the end of June 28th, 2026. And I would get exactly what I've done year over year. And then I would compare it to the previous period. And that's what this means right here, except we're comparing a quarter. I want to know, am I growing or not? It's either yes or no. Okay. Now, let's just say I took an income, and let's just say I did 20% less. Now, most people panic. No, I'm not going to panic yet. Haven't gotten to the rest of the picture. Then we get into expenses. What are my expenses for this quarter compared to year to date compared to the last period? Okay. Oh, my expenses are down. Okay, this is starting to look positive now. Then I get to the net NOI, which is net operating income. Okay, this is after the SG&A expenses, before EBITDA. It's going to give me my NOI. This is also a term used in real estate. Okay, I buy a house, I purchase the house, got the mortgage and all the expenses, and by the time all the expenses are said and out, I end up with what's called a net operating income. And that is what the bank is going to take into consideration when they're lending me money to buy investment property. Same thing in business. I'm going to look at your net operating income. If I'm going to buy your business, that better be a positive number. I don't give a rip about the income or the expense number. I have control of that. What I want to know is the business profitable. I may be down for income, down on expenses and my NOI is a positive 15%, dude, I'm going to figure out what the heck I did because I actually made more money even though my top line revenue was lower. Now let that sit in. Everybody thinks more sales, more sales. I need more income. I need more income. I need more income. I need more income. Maybe. If you don't know your numbers, you can pile on as much income as you want and spend it all out the back door. That's why it's important to have a financial planner. That's why my wife and I have chosen to submit our egos to Catherine Stelflute. Okay. Local here in Knoxville, financial planner, rock solid person, sits with me and my wife, financial review personally and business wise. She protects me from me. You know? So having your numbers is important. Accrual, same thing. Okay. Once you get that done, I want to list out, okay, what were the key issues? Now, I'm going to pause right here. If you have a team, if you have employees that work with you, do this part first and then sit down and go over this with them as well, the areas that are pertinent to them. Okay, there's a team addition to this. And it's very important to capture their ideas as well. I want to know, what were the key issues this past quarter? What happened? What were the issues? I discovered one issue. My system became very complicated. That's probably the number one thing I've learned over the last quarter is I have created a very complicated system that is not scalable and not sustainable. And I'm like, could I have had a V8? Glad I went through the exercise. We're making the system almost 25, 30% less complicated, which is actually going to produce more income. It's not going to change the value. It just means the steps are getting simpler. But had I not looked at it, I would have just plowed forward. You know, but this is why I have to take this moment of pause and look at it. Okay, business plan update. Look at your business plan. Now, if you're like Nancy, if you're like Rita, if you're like Jane, okay, Choya, the other people that are on this call that work with me one-on-one, or they're in one of my mastermind groups, you already have your plan. You know what your objectives are for the year. You already know what your strategies are. And now it's time to whip that plan out, dust it off if you haven't looked at it in a while, and then be honest with yourself. Okay. List all your objectives for the current year. Next, you want to list all the strategies that you used in the previous quarter. They're a part of that plan. Then you want to ask yourself the honest questions. Where am I at with the objectives? Okay. Again, we're just going to use a money metric because it's easy to measure. Let's just say your goal was to hit $1 million this year. Okay. Well, you're on track. If you're going to finish up June at 600,000. Okay. Or actually, no, what is that? 12? It's 8,083. Let's see, what is it? $100,000 divided by 12, or actually, no, $1 million. $1 million divided by 12. $83,333. See, I dropped out of high school, so even you can do that as well as times 6. I should be at $500,000. Well, that was simple math. $1 million divided by 2. Come on, John, you could have had a V8. Step your game up, brother. Why didn't you guys help me out, man? I mean, come on. Anyways, you should be at $500,000. Okay, if you came in at 300,000, then it's 300,000. Whatever the number is, the number is. Okay, if you're at 700, man, you set your goal too low. If you're 300, you set your goal too high. Okay, but know your numbers right now. Okay, what are the objectives you are supposed to be at this time of the year? Okay, number 2, what are the strategies? Okay, and this is where baseline strategy comes in. We're going to look at the strategies that you use. We're going to find out what worked, and we're going to double down on that going forward. We're going to find out what didn't work, and we're going to ask yourself a question. Can I modify it, change it, or improve it? Or number 2, subtract it, get rid of it. I'm not even going to continue to try it. I didn't even give it an effort. Okay, I don't want to do it. Or hire somebody to do it. Okay, if it's a strategy worth keeping. Okay, Then we want to look at, okay, forward-looking metrics. What are your major wins? What were your major wins and losses for the quarter? Numbers, if possible. What were the notable items in the quarter as far as pipeline? How many new clients did you bring on the last 3 months? How many clients did you bring on year to date? What were the projects that you worked on if your business is project-based? And whatever other notable items you want to measure. Now, I'm talking about business. I have a whole nother document I use for my personal life. I will be measuring my weight. Okay. At 11:59 or first thing when I wake up, July 1st, I will be taking a weight measurement. I will step on that scale and the chips will fall where it may. And I will write down the weight. Then I'm going to look down at the weight that I had April 1st of this year. And am I making progress or not? Okay. The numbers are not going to lie. Now, you can measure this with every area of your life. Okay. But as far as business is concerned, these are the most important things. Other information that you want to look at for this last quarter. What were the results? What were the results of the second quarter? List out your top 3 to 4 goals for the quarter and the results. What were the top 3 or 4 that you're like, man, come hell or high water, even whether it's 12 or 15 goals, what are the top 3 or 4 goals that moved the needle? For some of you, it's revenue. For some of you, it's profitability. For some of you, you wanted to launch a new program. For one of my clients, they wanted to sell 3 $85,000 or above projects for the quarter. And I know that they only have 2 right now. But the one thing that person has learned after all these years of working with me is we ain't giving up on that goal until 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night, June 30th. You're going to work your tail off between now and then to hit the goal so you can program your subconscious mind that you did everything you possibly could. See, a lot of us are going into Monday going, oh, what's the use? And all you do is set yourself up for failure. Okay. If you've ever watched any professional sports team, you can tell the great coaches from the coaches that are not great. The great coaches, the team is down by 30 points with 2 minutes left on the clock. And the coach still forces their butt to go out and play like they're going to win the game. And the reason is he cannot afford them taking it easy until the clock runs out. Momentum is everything. That's why you've seen multiple people like I forget. There's been several times this year where you're like, this game's over. Everybody started heading for the getting out of the chairs, heading for the cars and everything. Next thing you know, there's a shift in the momentum. There's a shift in the attitude of the player. And all of a sudden, what seemed like an impossible win comes back and you win it by 1 point. New York Knicks did it this year. They won the NBA Finals by 1 point. Okay? So, never give up on that goal. What are your top 3 to 4 quarter goals? Okay, what were the results? Then, once you get that in, set your top 3 to 4 third quarter goals. You're in business. You need to have a top line revenue number and a bottom line revenue number at minimum. If you don't, how are you going to know if you're on track? There's a lot of other goals in business, but last time I checked, we're in business to make money. And the numbers are what they are, but if we don't measure them and we don't want to look at them, they won't improve. Okay. Then I need help. List out the top things you need help with in the new quarter. This is where your good mentor comes into play. Now, you may not have a mentor. It's totally fine. Okay. Still write out the things. What are the things I need help with? Go on to johnpyron.com, book a 10 to 15-minute call. We'll talk to you. If we feel we can help you, we will. If not, we'll refer you to somebody who can. There's somebody out there for you. But don't go at it alone, okay? Next, leadership. Okay, what's your leadership plan update? Okay, what specific things have you done to lead the company over this last quarter? What are the changes or adaptations you have had to make? What are the challenges you're facing as a leader? I'll just be transparent. It's like I had to bring on Beth, okay, with Biloxa. She's on this call. And I had to bring her on because if I don't get John Pyron out of the way and trust that she can run the show on certain things without me, that's the biggest thing I can do for the company. Can't all center around me. Has to be a team effort. If it all centers around you, you do not own a business. You own a job. I know. Been there multiple times, got the t-shirt. That's right. That's the next t-shirt I should have MD Creations print. Been there, done it, got the t-shirt. Yeah. Challenges you're facing as the leader. We all face challenges, be honest. I mean, come on, man. It's like we all need to grow as leaders. Okay. And one of the best books you could probably invest in is How to Be Your Own Boss or How to Be a Boss. Okay. How to be a boss. You can call yourself a team leader. I'm a team member. I'm a leader. No, you're the boss. And it's time you stepped into being the boss. You know, but some of you have been thrown into being a boss and never have had the training on how to be a boss. Well, that's the book I give to my clients, the audio and the physical book, if they've never been taught how to be a boss. Nothing wrong with it. It's a learned skill. Okay. Maybe that's what you got to work on. What are the challenges you're facing as a leader? And then any news, positive or negative. Okay. Pressing or difficult issues. This is all the look at yourself in the mirror thing. Now, I'm going to caution some of you as a leader. You don't need to share this stuff with your team if they are not in a position to help you. Okay? Don't go scaring the heck out of your team. They're not the owner. You are. If they're not going to be involved in the solution, don't share with them the problem. They don't deserve it. They're not your counselor. They're not your mentor. They're not your counselor. And they don't deserve to carry around the weight of you, the owner. You are the owner.
Oh, how's it going?
Hello? Okay. So, double check something. Okay. All right. Let's go on to quarterly report. Okay. The reason I'm having Gene upload the life plan as well, because it's an entire document for us as owners. We need to have our life plan updated. If something happens to us as an owner, our spouse or estate or whoever's left holding the bag once we're gone cannot be trying to figure it out. Okay, where the passwords are, the bank, the money, the clients, etc. Okay, don't leave your people left holding the bag if something happens to you. Okay, it's not cool. Last year, my client, okay, out of California, wanted to buy a business. No, 2 years ago, wanted to buy a business. They went and searched and searched and searched. They finally found a pool service company. The guy had been in business 42 years, almost 6,500 active clients. It was a phenomenal pool service business. Reoccurring revenue. Clients have been with the company more than 25 years. And the widow had it up there for sale. Okay. No problem. My clients wants to buy it. I get involved in the negotiation because that's what I do. So if you ever need to buy a business, by the way, I'm a master negotiator with that. I've facilitated the sale of probably over 400 businesses at this point. I kind of know a little bit about what to do. And I get involved in the negotiating part. Okay, negotiating the best deal. So I went and called them up and talked to her business broker and started getting through the deal. And this is why it's like, really, you're a business broker? Like, you're a licensed business broker and you have this business for sale. And the reason I asked him that question to his face is I'm like, dude, after looking under the cover and after looking at the due diligence, he did not put this business in the trust. He did not elect her to the board of directors. Okay. It's an S Corp. Like, she can't even sell the business. Like, it's held up in probate. You and I both know that. Why the heck are you not advising her better? I can't even buy this business even if I wanted to. Why? Because they didn't have their life plan updated. Okay. He should have put the dang thing in a trust. He should have had a plan in place. If something happens to his butt, she can sell it. The woman, the poor lady, can't even pull money out of the company to survive. And she can't sell it. And the business produces an insane profit. But no, she has to sit back and wait for California to sink their teeth into the probate process. And if the business is still around, then she can sell it. This is sad. Okay. So part of having your life plan updated is you prevent the inevitable. At some point, you're going to want to exit. At some point, you're going to want to sell it. Do it the right way. Okay. Go through that. What are your top 3 accomplishments? There's a whole thing in there for a bucket list. Okay. Changes and adaptations. It covers every single area of your life: health, fitness, finance, family, everything. Because if you don't have your life plan dialed in, what the business, all the business is going to do is produce money. And all it's going to do is become a job. But if you don't know why you're doing all this, it's not, the how-to becomes a pain in the butt, to be quite honest. And when your dreams and goals hold a greater priority in your life than the obstacles that come your way, then all of a sudden you're going to overcome your obstacles and reach your dreams and goals. All of a sudden the how-to becomes easy when you're very clear on why you're doing it. And the life plan update keeps that juice flowing. It's the batteries. Okay. It's it's how you become the Energizer Bunny, right? Is every quarter you get reconnected with, why the heck am I doing this in the first place? Okay. Then we get into the legacy plan. Same thing. What's the legacy going to be? Work-life balance, positive or negative, pressing issues, family news, trends, opportunities and challenges. And once you have all that information, then you can sit down and update your plan. And when you go through this exercise, here's the key. Shut down for a day or a half a day just before or just after the end of a calendar quarter. Okay? My team sees my calendar. They can attest. I'm a freaking machine when it comes to this. I don't negotiate this. And it's not because I feel like it or I want to do it, because quite frankly, I don't. Just being honest. I would rather go out and sell and sell and sell and sell and sell, negotiate, and not ever have to look at this crap, to be quite honest. I don't want to face reality. But I force myself to do it the same way a professional athlete forces themselves to practice when they don't want to, which is why they're a professional athlete, which is why they made the cut and everybody else didn't. Okay? You want to be just like every other business owner? Just delete this recording. Don't even come back to this show, because this show ain't for you. Okay? Just keep plowing away on your own and wish you the very best. But if you want to perform at a higher level than the level you've been performing at, and you know that there's more in you than you can possibly get, show up every single Wednesday at 2 p.m. Bring your toughest questions. Because I'm going to tell you right now what's going to happen come next Wednesday. The moment we move this to 2 p.m. on Wednesday, this is going to go from what you see on the screen here, 3, 6, 9, 10. 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, you can do this. I dropped out of high school. I got to count here. Okay. So we got 12, 13 people, including myself on the live call. Guarantee you next Wednesday is going to be about 50 to 60 people. We ain't going to get to everybody's questions. I can tell you that right now. There's going to become a process in place. Gene and I are working this out where at the end of the day, we're going to bring on some great business questions. It's going to be rock solid. Okay. And I want to take a quick moment before we run out of time, and I want to give credit where credit's due. Incredible Towns, Incredible Business Networking. Okay. They're our sponsor of this show. Okay. We're going into next month. In the Knoxville region alone, there's about 15 to 16 chapters, all first, second, and third week. What you want to do is go to incrediblebusinessnetworking.com or scan on the QR code and get to those meetings and share it with every single person that you know. Okay, bring a guest, by the way. Starting next week, we're going to have we're adding a new sponsor, Sherry Sanderson, okay, which both Choi and I have a high degree of respect for. The Knoxville Insiders joining the party. Okay, they're going to sponsor the show. It has a daily subscriber list of 20,000 email subscribers with almost a 49% open rate and about a 17% click-through rate. You don't achieve those numbers without knowing what you're doing. Okay. And Choi and her have been partnered up, and now we're all three partnering up, and we're going to sponsor this Business Doctor show, and we're going to make some big, I'm talking big announcements next Wednesday. It's going to kick off a series that you are not going to believe even exists in Knoxville. Okay, give you a sneak peek. We're going to have a business excellence series that meets for breakfast once a month at Beaver Brook Country Club. Okay, yeah, it's going to be about, we're going to probably charge $20 at the door. There's going to be one or two speakers, and we're going to have breakfast for you. Okay, but we're going to have some very unbelievably great speakers in that room that are going to share with you their top business tips for the month. Okay? It's going to be a great networking event. It's going to be a paid for event. We ain't doing a free one. Okay. And so that's going to be that. Then quarterly going forward, okay, we're going to be doing a business owners boot camp, and it's going to be exclusive. Only 25 people will be even allowed to purchase a ticket. And you will have to go through an interview process in order to even participate. Okay. And all it is we're bringing 25 business owners together for once a quarter, and we're going to do a quarterly boot camp for businesses. And the parameters are, once you get past the fact that we like you and you're not crazy, okay, we're going to put it into a pool and we're going to spin the wheel, and 25 people are going to get selected to attend. Okay, the other people will be on the live stream. Okay, it's going to be super valuable. But when you have a network like Choi is, where he's got 70, how many chapters now? 73 chapters or something like that? You're muted.
I think we're pushing about 77 as of next month.
Yeah, 77 chapters. And then Sherry Sanders has got 20,000 daily subscribers to an email, and we got almost a couple of 100,000 in our database alone. Okay. You want to show up here. Okay. You want to have your logo. Okay. This is going viral before your very eyes. Okay. And so you're going to see this thing explode and grow and blow up. And so I want you to go back, listen to this recording, take the assets Gene gave to you, get your quarterly planning done. And if you're not working with me one-on-one or in a mastermind group, okay, then go to johnpyron.com, click on the book appointment button, and get your quarterly business review strategy session planned in my calendar, because I'm already, I don't know, Gina, I think I'm already booked out like the first 2 or 3 weeks of July. Okay. So you need to get on the calendar. Otherwise, you're just going to have to wait. Okay. Now, here's the other thing is we got a couple more coaches coming on board that are super, super experienced. So even though you won't be able to meet with me probably, okay, we've got some really cool coaches that have been with me for years that they're stepping in to help with the process as well. Okay. So we're going to find a way to get your needs met. I want you to be successful. I don't want this show to just be some other educational show that you show up to on a weekly basis. I want it to make impact in your life. It's the whole reason we're doing this. Show up and be the best you that you can become, because there is no second, there's no competition for you. You might as well live life to the fullest. And I've got good news for you, and I'll close on this. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Okay, you get to decide from this day forward how you want to live. Okay, and you have my permission to forgive yourself for everything that's happened prior to this moment. Learn from it, but don't drag it into your future. Okay, go out and be blessed, make it happen. Visit incrediblebusinessnetworking.com, incrediblebusinessnetworks.com, or incrediblebusinessnetworks.com.
It's incredibletalents.com for our marketing services, incrediblebusinessnetworking.com for networking.
Okay. And knoxvilleinsider.com and johnpyron.com. Visit those sites and share it out with people, and show up next week with your biggest business challenges. And we'll see you then. Have a blessed day, ladies.